Alright, happy Friday, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Help Me I Am in Hell show, which we lovingly call DEGREELESSNESS, hosted by me, yours truly, long-suffering Shanghai Pete, champion of the people, and of course, your good buddy in the mix. I hope your week was tolerable, and that you're getting positively faced right now, because we do have some fun stuff to talk about today. You already know what it is. Deep inside we must be, so deep inside we go. Tonight we will once again be eschewing our standard weekly recap to instead focus the entire episode on the two biggest events of the week, the release of Final Fantasy XVI and Wednesday's Nintendo Direct. Regrettably, I'm just a normal consumer wage slave like everybody else and not a famous YouTuber or professional journalist, so I was not able to finish Final Fantasy XVI in time to get a review together, so that'll have to wait until next week. Instead, I'm only able to offer my early impressions, which I'm sure will work out fabulously and not be misinterpreted at all, especially if the last early impressions vid we did on Tears of the Kingdom is any indication. Yes, heedless, undaunted, we press on to offer this scalding hot take. This is an action game, it's not an RPG. So far, a relatively dope action game that I'm having fun with for the most part, but definitely not an RPG in almost any sense. I am still enjoying the story though, and overall the presentation is pretty fantastic. We'll see if it continues to hold up. Are any of you guys playing it? Let us know how you're feeling about it in the comments down below. And if for some reason you're wondering how the legacy media feels about it, well, you won't need to go far to find that out. In fact, you probably don't even have to actually check, because almost every outlet says exactly what you'd expect them to say about a tentpole major AAA release like this one, especially by Square Enix and extra specially a Final Fantasy game. See, at this point, we know games like this aren't really allowed to fail, and if you know anything about how much money goes into these type of products, well, you likely also understand why. No major industry, and we must now sadly count gaming among them, can allow for the public failing of investments of hundreds of millions of dollars, because that would make other companies nervous and adverse to also investing that kind of money on other games. See, too many high-profile failures across any industry will create an appearance of risk, and if there's too much risk involved in high-dollar blockbuster AAA games, then what happens, class? That's right, companies will eventually then stop making high-risk, high-dollar blockbuster AAA games. And if too many of the big boys pull out too much of the big money, well, then the industry market cap will begin to decrease. In other words, the amount of money to be made in video games will go down. Great for all of us genuine fans of the medium, perhaps, but very bad for our hyper-capitalist dystopia, which, as we all know, does not entertain or tolerate silly ideas like less money. Except when it comes to paying their employees, of course. So if you understand that, then you understand why Final Fantasy XVI was only ever going to earn 9s and 10s from all the big shots and industry trendsetters in legacy media. A game like Final Fantasy XVI is so big that if it fails, it's not just a failure for the publisher, it's actually a failure for the entire industry, because its monetary footprint is so large, it actually affects everybody. Hence, it's in everyone's best interest that this game gets super high review scores. Journalists, publishers, developers, everybody. It's a win-win for all of them. You guys remember when Jim Sterling had the audacity to give Breath of the Wild a 7? They ate Jim's fucking breakfast for that. In my opinion, Breath of the Wild is more like an 8.5, maybe an A-, but you could certainly make a case for a 7. You think IGN was allowed to give Final Fantasy XVI a 7 Gs? Fuck no. The only time you'll actually see legacy media narrative humpers permitted to give major products like a Final Fantasy or Call of Duty game anything less than an 8 is when the game is just so incomprehensibly terrible that attempting to deny it would break the kayfabe. Redfall is a great example of this. So shout out to the smaller outlets offering the rare 3 out of 5s and whatnot. Us customers appreciate the honesty. Now, I'm obviously not saying that all the higher scores are completely disingenuous. That would be fucking ridiculous. I'm simply suggesting that you remember that video games and their reviews are a business first and entertainment very mumuch second. And to that point, spoiler alert, I'm about a third of the way through and probably give it a C+ at this point, maybe a B-. And now, hey, maybe it'll completely turn around in the second half and suddenly all those scores will indeed look justified. I hope so. But as of right now, gotta be honest, it looks like they're being a little funny with the numbers, G's.
I'm asking a question, that's all I'm saying.
Moving on, let's talk about Wednesday's Nintendo Direct. And to get it out of the way first, a Chrono Trigger remake was not among the announcements. For better or worse, a lot of what was announced, however, was interestingly predicted by the same leaker that also predicted the Chrono Trigger remake, so Something tells me that's not the last that we're gonna hear about that. The highlights, however, in my opinion, were 4 titles. The Star Ocean 2 remake, a leak about which I reported on last week. Super Mario Bros. Wonder, a brand new 2D Mario game, a remake of Super Mario RPG, and of course, the Metal Gear Solid Master Collection. Oh shit, bitch. Let's talk about the Super Mario RPG remake first. Remember when at the top of the year, on the first Super Podcast Entertainment episode, me and Bobby predicted 2023 would be the year of the remake? Seems like we were not very far off. Many people, understandably so, are getting pretty fucking burnt out on remakes at this point, and yo, I'm right there with you. For the love of God, make something fucking new, please. Too much risk there, I suppose, though, as we discussed earlier, so I guess we can't be too surprised just how deep into our childhoods that they're willing to bore mine shafts in order to find content. Nevertheless, this is the reality of our troubled existence, so it's that with which we must deal. We are the fair show in America, after all, so it's gotta be said, as unwanted or unnecessary as it may perhaps be, the Super Mario RPG remake does look fucking fantastic. Now, in case you missed it, check this out real quick. It's fucking fire, right? Dropping on November 17th, this looks to be an extremely faithful remake of the Super Nintendo classic by Square. If you haven't played it yet, I recommend it. It's an awesome game, if a bit weird. Who the fuck thought up the talking sword? Like, I don't hate it per se, but it definitely breaks the immersion of the Mario World / Mushroom Kingdom universe. They just don't seem to be the kind of place you'd find a 100-foot tall talking sentient sword. But I guess then again, as I say that, it occurs to me that perhaps Mushroom Kingdom is the exact place that you might find a 100-foot tall talking sentient sword, so maybe I don't know fucking shit. Anyways, for those of you who aren't aware, the plot here centers around antagonists called the Smithy Gang, who along with their gigantic, horrifying sentient sword, invade Mario's little world, scattering Mario and the 7 star fragments in the process. They're led by Smithy, a robotic blacksmith from an alternate dimension with aspirations of world domination. That's just awesome. It's fucking retarded, but it's also a lot of fun. Hopefully all the mechanics and nuances remain in place here. Honestly, it's a Nintendo first-party title, and even the composers have returned, so I'm not too worried. They usually don't fuck up shit like this. Remember the Link's Awakening remake? That shit ruled. Next, no, we are not done with remakes yet, because we've also got the remake of the fantastic PSX-era JRPG, Star Ocean: The Second Story. I'm actually playing the PSP release of this on my Switch right now, and so far I'm at about 15-20 hours. It's really awesome. Definitely worthy of all the praise that I see for it. As I mentioned last week, I would absolutely welcome a way to play this on a modern platform that didn't require a buggy retro art core. Now, I've seen a lot of people with various gripes about the art style and look of this, but honestly, I don't really get it. The original, as good as it is, it does that weird low detail, super basic CG pre-rendered background stuff that so many PSX era games did that honestly looks kind of garbo. It did not age well at all. I do like the 2D sprites on top of the pre-rendered world look, but the particular technique used in the first release to do that it's not great. So I'm excited about this one. Don't you dare charge more than $30 for this, Nintendo, you motherfuckers. Next up is the Metal Gear Solid Master Collection. Fuck the 3 remake, boys. This is the real jam right here. It includes Metal Gear, Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake, Metal Gear Solid, including VR missions, special missions, Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty, the HD Collection version, Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater, also HD Collection version, Metal Gear, the NES Famicom version, and Snake's Revenge. Doesn't say if that's an MSX version there also, but I suspect it is. The last time I was able to play all these on a console, or easily for that matter, I think was the Legacy Collection on PS3. But then my PS3 fucking died, trapping all those games along with MGS4 on its hard drive forever. And now that I think about it, that collection was kind of a pile. You had to download a bunch of the games because they couldn't be bothered to put some of them on the actual discs for whatever fucking reason. So the fact that soon no one will need to rely on that garbage to play these classics is absolutely awesome news. What some may regard as even better news is that IGN has recently confirmed the leaks regarding Volume 2 of the MGS Master Collection, specifically that it will indeed include Metal Gear Solid 4, Guns of the Motherfucking Patriots. Also included will be MGS 5 as well as Peace Walker. Now, I hate to be harsh, but I don't really give fuck one about MGS 5.
I don't really give a shit about that kind of punk fuck.
I had a lot of fun with it, but come on, that sure wasn't really an MGS game. It was a Gaiden at best, and no David Hayter. Like, what a mess. As for Peace Walker, I never actually finished it, so I'd be psyched to play that too. The big attraction, obviously, is MGS4 for that one, which has been unfairly trapped on the fucking PS3 and its godforsaken cell processor for almost 15 years. Free MGS4, motherfucker, hell yeah. Lastly today, we have the big boy, the biggest boy, in fact, Mario. That's right, after almost 10 years, at long last, a new 2D Mario game has been unveiled, and you know what? It looks fucking cold. No couching or caveats, it just looks fucking awesome. Give me bright colors, classic 2D side-scrolling mushrooms, and an overworld map. Oh shit, and I'm happy. I'm not exactly sure how I feel about Elephant Mario. It's a little, I don't know, elephant-y. But then again, they've managed to make just about everything else work, so I'll trust Shiggy on this one too. Now that I think about it, I'm pretty sure Mario games are about the only thing in the entire industry that I'm still willing to give the benefit of the doubt. I don't think they've ever fucked one up, really. I mean, I personally wasn't really feeling the Galaxy games, maybe too much Wii waggle controls, I don't know, but I still acknowledge that they're objectively considered to be phenomenal, so I'm gonna give Super Mario Bros. Wonder the official degreelessness stamp of, I'm pretty sure it's okay to be excited about this one. Alright, that's our show. Thank you so much for chilling with us tonight. We love you today. We love you all the way. Make sure to leave your thoughts in the comments down below. I love reading them. Well, for the most part. Did I miss something you guys thought was awesome in the Nintendo Direct? Are you playing Final Fantasy 16 and loving it? Are you playing Final Fantasy 16 and hating it? Let us know. In the meantime, I'll be working on my review. I'm hoping to get it out by Wednesday of next week, but if not, you can count on it for next Friday's episode. Until then, everybody, be excellent to each other.
Woke up, smoke up, blunt, then I pass out. Pass out. Woke up, what up, smoke up, blunt, then I'm back down. Back down. What? Yup, woke up, smoke up, blunt, then I pass out. Pass out. Woke up, what up, smoke up, blunt, then I'm